Welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. I think there's no doubt that the Australian Jiu-Jitsu women are killing it on the world stage lately. And today's guest is definitely been a big part of that. If you don't know her before this episode, you are certainly going to know her after it. She won 2022 Purple Belt Masters Worlds. She won 2023 Brown Belt Masters Worlds. And she got her black belt in 6.5 years. Is that right? She is Jess
A
Ng.
little longer than that, but
A little
close.
longer, but less than 7 years. Yeah, less than 7 years.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us
Hello.
from Legacy, Jess. Thanks, Jess. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolute pleasure. Where are you based, Jess? Where do you live?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's a lag. We've got a lag.
I think the connection's not very good.
Can you
Oh.
hear me okay? Maybe I'll just
Yeah, I
ask all the
can hear you.
questions. Anton, you can't ask any questions.
Standard. Kim doesn't let me ask
Yeah.
questions anyway.
No,
That's
I don't.
Sorry, guys.
So you're from Sydney, yeah? You're from Legacy in Sydney?
Yes, I train at Legacy in Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not
Yeah.
originally from here, obviously, from my accent. I'm Canadian.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. So how long have you been in Australia for?
Uh, I think it's 20 years this year, so I've been here a really long time.
Wow.
Interesting. What
So
brought you what
you
brought you on that journey? Was it for love or money or what was the reason you ventured across? Oh no, again.
again, she can't hear you, Anton. It's only me. So I could be the translator.
Yeah, please.
So what brought you to Australia?
I finished uni a really long time ago, and I came over for working holiday visa. And all my friends loved it here so much, and everyone was like, "Yeah, I want to stay. I want to stay." I got here. I came to Sydney, and I was like, "People are a little bit rude here." So I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll go home." But of course, I met a boy, and I ended up coming back, and I married the boy. I was married for 12 years. We're not married anymore, but I still live here, and I love it here.
Yeah,
So. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So you're a student at Legacy. We've had quite a few Legacy coaches and a couple of students on here. What is it about that club that makes it so special? Like you just seem to be bringing there's so many killers on the mat. What is it about that club?
Um, I was at two different clubs before I joined Legacy, and I think like for me, once I got there, you get on the mats and there's a feeling, like you feel like, you're included and you feel like, it's comfortable and safe and it feels like home to you, right? So I felt that the minute I stepped on the mats, and I feel like that's the same now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
tell us about how you discovered jiu-jitsu. So you didn't start off at Legacy, you started somewhere else, and like if you're comfortable to share that, like how did it happen?
So I've played a few different sports through my life, but I think at the time I was paddling, and I decided, I wanted to get back into the gym more. So I joined the UFC gym in Alexandria, which is, no longer, it's a crunch now, but there, I met the guys, the trainers who were all really into jiu-jitsu. So they're like, oh, you should give it a try. I think you'd like it. So I remember getting up to the mats and having a look and watching the first time and going, ew, that is disgusting. I want no part of it. So I had to get on the mats for like another year before I went into a no-gi class with a friend of mine, and we gave it a go, and I haven't turned back since. Yeah.
Cool. Can you
Yeah,
hear me now,
wow,
Jess, by any
fantastic.
chance? I've changed microphones. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Oh
hear you
my
now.
Lord, I love it. All right.
Mm,
So UFC
damn.
gym, we haven't had Kim went to hijack
Sorry.
there. She got to hog you all to herself, but I get to go now. Um, so UFC gym is like interesting. Like we haven't had a lot of guests who had the UFC gym experience. Like, did they nail it, or was the UFC gym kind of thing like, did it miss the mark? I'm interested to know.
I feel like we were very lucky because the instructor that was on, he was quite seasoned. So his name was Masa, and he's moved back to Japan since. But he was the instructor for the very first class that I was in, and he was very structured with what he did, and he was very careful who to pair people up with. Like he was very specific about it. So I felt like it was, he did a really good job and made it safe for everybody, and especially, women trying it out for the first time.
Yeah, I just
but
figured
otherwise,
that
it was kind of a combination of, oh, sorry.
No, you go. Yeah. You.
It was a combination of like sort of purple. I think there was a black belt, but purple belts, and maybe even like a blue belt teaching. So I wouldn't say there was any sort of curriculum or anything like that, but it was heaps of fun. Like there was a class where we were all white belts, and they were teaching us toe holds and knee bars. So that was fun.
That's what I'm talking about. That was kind of where I was going. Like, I feel like, there's so many people out there who say, they don't even say I train MMA. They say like, I train UFC. There's like the uneducated aspect of the martial arts community out there. And if they hear that there's a UFC gym, I was just imagining you could get all sorts down there, and it could be quite full on. So I guess that's what I was kind of wondering about.
We definitely had all sorts there. So we had, really good grapplers that trained like weights there and stuff, and it was included in the membership, right? So they come in and they were higher belts, and it was great. But we definitely had some big bros that would like hurl you across the mats for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, now there is definitely different cultures at different. Can you not hear me now? Whoa. That's not good.
Ooh.
No, Anton, you'll have to take over. No, I can't have that. I can't have that.
Jessica's actually frozen as well. So
can you hear me now,
Jess?
No.
Come back, Jess. Come back.
We have this sort of technical issues all the time.
Yeah,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yep. You're good.
Okay. All good. All good. Yeah, there's definitely differences in cultures across the gyms.
I wonder if it's me.
I think
that's what everyone says in a relationship, don't they? It's not you, it's me. How about now?
I wish they said that, Kim. I don't think they say that.
Yes, I can hear you now. You're all
okay. All good. No, I was just interested to hear your thoughts on. So you've been across a couple of gyms, like you don't have to name names or whatever, but what's your sort of take on different cultures within different gyms? Like whether it's ones that you've previously trained at or even just ones that you've visited, like as a female, especially, like what can you share on that front?
Well, from my experience, I started brand new at a gym that wasn't very structured at all. And then like, I'm happy to, like if they're, I hope that's okay that I call out their gyms, but I then joined Gracie Humaita in Alexandria. And I really, their fundamentals are fantastic, but I found that honestly, it was a little bit too rigid for me because, going in there as a white belt, there were a lot of things that you weren't allowed to do. You're not allowed to call out a higher belt to roll, and you're not allowed to, join let's say, like an all levels class if you were below a certain number of stripes on your white belt. So, luckily I was able to do morning classes there, and Owen was the instructor then, and he was, more than happy to have anyone and everyone on the mats. And it was, a lot less structured in his classes, but
Owen,
otherwise
we just happened to have him on last podcast.
He was the last guest.
What a small world. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so then when I ended up going to try Legacy out, because actually one of the, I call them my gym bros, who introduced me to jiu-jitsu, they actually, one of them trained at Legacy. So I went, and that's how I tried out Legacy, and thought that, that's kind of a really good middle ground where it's not, anything goes, but it's not also super structured, where you have, like, not that we had to, bow to a picture or anything, but, it was kind of not like that, right?
Awesome. I'm wondering, like, also very few people get their black belt in less than 7 years. I'm on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. I'm like a 30-year black belt kind of guy. So in your case, right, like for those people out there who are like really dying to get their black belt fast, what was the secret sauce for you? Are you just genetically gifted? Do you learn differently? How do you do it?
I am not gifted at all.
Well, you've
I
won
would
2
say
world
that I'm
championships, so I think you must have some level of skill up there.
I would probably say that I'm a little bit OCD. So I'm not really good at just picking up something for funsies. So, whatever sport it is I pick up, I kind of throw myself, wholly into it. And I think for me, I mean, part of it is, I'm going to always say that it's hard work and it's also luck, right? So I found that I think what's sped me along faster than a lot of people is that I've had some bigger competition wins. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing in helping me get the black belt in a shorter amount of time, I'm not sure because obviously I've just gotten my black belt, and do I feel like I deserve it? Oh, I don't know. Do I feel like I have the skills to back it up? Well, I'm not sure yet. So,
okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Tell us about those World Masters tournaments that you had. So I think this one that has just been this year, was it the final that you won? Was it like an advantage or a ref decision or something like that came through? And then last year what I saw, you dominated. You really like cleaned up last year. Is that fair to say? Oh, she can't hear me again. Damn.
Kim's
there you go. No, you're here. You're here. Sorry,
Yeah.
it just like lags a little bit.
Lagged out. Did you get the gist of what I was just tell me about? Yes. Like your experiences at Masters?
Yeah, so in the final, I ended up winning by ref's decision, which no one ever wants to leave it up to ref's decision. But I can't. My fights were really boring. So if anyone watches them, I'm sorry, they were really, really boring. But I feel like, especially for big tournaments, you have to be strategic, right? It's not about necessarily, going gung ho when you need to go, when you don't need to get the points or whatever. But in this case, she was trying to pass my close guard via a Sao Paulo pass. But, but maybe not doing it 100% correctly. So she was just trying to squish me and stack me, but it wasn't really working. So I knew that the time was counting down. So I made sure to, actively be, searching for a submission from where she was. So I literally threw up a Hail Mary loop choke and stole it with my face and made sure that the ref knew I was trying to do a loop choke. And that's actually what got me the win. So
yeah.
Was it an advantage? Like you won an advantage with a facial expression?
No, it wasn't even an advantage.
Just a ref decision.
It was ref's decision.
Right. Wow. Okay, cool.
Salesmanship. Yeah, so I was really lucky.
Salesmanship is how to get the results sometimes in a big comp. I love it. That's awesome.
And Jess, did you find much of a difference between last year's and this year? Like, I guess jumping from purple to brown, was there a difference?
For me last year, I think in my fights last year, I was able to play the game that I wanted to play. So I felt like because I was able to get into an advantageous position that it wasn't necessarily like crazy difficult because it wasn't, I didn't feel like I was massively under pressure. So I felt like the girls this year definitely, the matches were definitely harder. But did I have to worry about a knee bar or toe hold? No. So that was lucky.
True. Yeah.
I'm stuck on this like fast progression to black belt because it's again rare. So I'm thinking like, now what's next for you? Like, what's the next kind of thing that you want to achieve in your jiu-jitsu journey? Because it seems like hasn't been too hard for you to get to where you want to go. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but has it been hard? What's next for you? That's what I'm thinking.
For me, like, was it hard? Like, as in, time period? Not necessarily, but I did in the time. We did have lockdown, and I did actually have knee reconstruction. So
wow.
Coming back from that was quite difficult. It wasn't because of jiu-jitsu. Let's not get into that. But yeah. So I feel like for me, it would just be becoming the black belt that I'd be proud of being, and making sure that, I get to start to learn how to teach. So I'd really like to do that as well. I think for the next phase. And then, of course, I still want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of competing, something I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Jess, that she did earlier this year for the AJP tour. There's not a lot of women that compete, and in the brown black division, I think you needed to have an opponent for the prize money to be awarded. So for our listeners that may not be aware, Jess took herself out of the under 70 kilo division and went up to the under 95 kilo division, where our friend Chantel Thompson is, so that there would be a division, so that one of them would have the opportunity to potentially win prize money. And yeah, Jess, can you just talk to us a little bit about that? And how was it facing Chantel? I've done the same, and yeah, I've lived to tell the tale, but it's
she I'm alive, first of all.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, see, again, strategic, right? So I knew that, once you get to a certain level, especially being a woman, we start to message each other because we all know each other, right? There's only a finite number of women who are, brown, black, or brown belt or black belt. So I messaged the girls and made sure that the under 70 kilo division would still be running, like nobody was pulled out of that before I jumped out of the under 70, because the weigh-ins were the day before. So I made sure that I was going to, be pretty much bang on. So, because I think Chantel was also making sure that she would be under 95 in order for her to be in the bracket. So it was a bit of a kind of a balancing act, but making sure that the under 70 division would also go. Then I made sure that I moved up to the 95 so that she would have a fight. Or else, if no one were to fight her, then there would be no prize money up for her and there would be no fight. So, so we talked it out and made sure that, we'd both be in there. And we met up beforehand, we had a chat. And once, we stepped on the mats, it was all, game time. But man, she's very tough. Obviously, I don't know anything about her previous to that, but the first match, that's some serious Keza she's got. So yeah.
That's very much.
Yeah.
Very much.
So I made sure in the second match, so to keep her from Kezing me until maybe the very end, because I didn't really want to get there again, even though I ended up there.
What was the result of those matches? Who won those matches? Did Chantel win them both, or who won them?
Yes, absolutely. She won both.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I think giving away 25 kilos there is a very big, noble act on your part.
Absolutely. Agreed. Actually,
it was fun though, so I'm really glad that I had a chance to fight her.
Someone said to me
fun.
The other day,
yeah, that's the word.
Someone said to me the other day that the reason that they compete nowadays is to make friends in jiu-jitsu. That's his primary purpose. Like I'm a 50-year-old master and this guy's probably around the same age, but literally he competes to make friends. And I'd never thought about competing like that actually before. It's such a great way to meet people, to bond with people, to get a much deeper connection. But and in your case, even outside your own weight division as well, and your own, but that's something I've been mucking around with lately. Like, what is your drive to compete?
I think, part of it is being, like the whole thing about being comfortable outside your comfort zone, right? Pushing ourselves a little bit. But otherwise, it's just to, go to different places and meet different people and, train at, other gyms around the world. And, I think it's just, for me, I love to travel and I love to meet people and I love to have fun. I think going to an international competition and, winning or losing isn't necessarily, the biggest, most important outcome from it, right? So I enjoy all those aspects.
Yeah, awesome.
But you talked a little bit before about strategy. Besides what you said about, when it was coming down to the wire with your final, what other sort of things do you do maybe before a competition, strategic wise, that might give you the edge?
So what I've done since white belt is, if I do any competitions in the US, I go and I do my own 2-week training camp at Atos. So Atos headquarters in San Diego. So I go there and literally, so I make sure it's for about 2 weeks, because for the first week, it's acclimatizing and, understanding that, you're there to get bashed, like even at, brown belt. I was there, I was getting bashed. So it's just a difference in intensity that I feel like is different with the girls who train with each other in the States versus the girls who train with each other maybe. I wouldn't say in Australia, but like in Sydney, because we're generally quite friendly with each other, you know? So if, you know, we tend to try to turn it up, or people sometimes people get mad, you know? So when you go and you go outside of your own school and you go to, you know, somewhere like the States where um, people are just there, they train hard, they bash each other, and then straight afterwards, everyone's friends. So I find that really helps with me. And plus, I have no understanding of what their game is. So, you know, everyone's going to be quite different from what you're used to at home.
Yeah, learning to solve a different puzzle, different people. I like that. Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying about the Australian community, or, you know, like in general, like I guess it's small enough that, yeah, people can get kind of A, used to each other, but B, pissed off with each other. It's a bit, I guess it's a bit of a shame though that we get pissed off with each other if we lose, like in training, I think, because it's an opportunity to grow. So, you know, I hope that we can kind of improve as a culture, as a scene around that, and like just look to improve from every loss rather than take it personally, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that it's like that everywhere, but you know, I just feel like sometimes that, you know, in order to keep things, you know, friendly, that that's the way we generally roll with each other. But you know, when it's coming up to, you know, major comp, that, you know, that's not the way I need to roll moving up to that comp, right?
Makes sense.
And tell us about strength and conditioning. You've got, I think, have you got like a strength and conditioning coach, and they work you pretty hard? Tell us how that goes leading up to a comp.
I currently don't have one, but you know, I've done Bulletproof. I've worked with JT. I've worked with Mark Brewer. So I have done programs with them before, and I find that, you know, working with them face to face really really helps with my strength and conditioning, and my, you know, how my body is before a comp. But I find like this year that I've actually hurt my back a few times. So like hurt my back where I could not stand up and I could not, you know, get up off a chair bad. So I found that I was doing a lot of rehab, and leading up to Roundabout World Masters, sorry, that I was literally just making sure that I did not injure myself.
Right.
So making sure that I did my mobility and strengthening for my lower back so that I didn't throw it out, you know, mid camp, moving into the comp.
Do you think that those back injuries are stemming from jiu-jitsu or from previous stuff, or just life wear and tear, or what's your thoughts?
I think it's a combination of things because I have kind of had, you know, back tweaks from other sports as well, but I am also an old bird. So I am not a spring chicken anymore. So I think partially it's that, but I think also my balance between doing jujitsu and doing strength and conditioning probably wasn't the best balance at the time. I was doing mostly jujitsu, and I mean, that's not always the best for your body. So yeah, moving forward, it's more of a balanced
yeah, absolutely.
So what would an
schedule.
ideal week look like for you, like a training week, say leading into a comp? How often do you train jiu-jitsu? How often do you do other stuff?
So I try to do gym work probably twice a week, and I throw in one yoga session a week on Sundays, and then I'll do classes wise, rolling probably about maybe 6 to 8 sessions a week, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that they're high intensity. So our morning classes are usually pretty chill. There's a lot more girls, so we just work with each other versus our night classes, which are, you know, higher in intensity.
So you'll sometimes train morning, go to work, and then train night as well? You train morning and night some days, twice in a day, jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so I try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I try to do two jiu-jitsu sessions, and then Tuesday, Thursday mornings I try to do my strength work, and then Sundays I'll do yoga, but then we'll throw an open mat on Saturdays. So you know, I
Wow. So
try to get
7
in
days a
kind of
week.
one day off a week somewhere. if I can.
Where's the day off
Around
though?
work,
Every
of course.
day. Every day has something, yeah.
I try
Yeah.
most of the time if my body is behaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the reason? I mean, it's obviously that's great for progression and probably explains a lot about your progression. But like what is the what is the reason for training twice a day? Is it just because you love it so much? I think she's frozen.
Yeah, that lagged a bit for me as well, Anton. I don't know if you can hear us,
Really?
Jess. Yeah,
Jess is frozen for me.
she's frozen now. Can you still hear us, Jess?
If you're listening
Hello?
in, guys, thank you so much. It's this happens from time to time, but what Jess has got to say is amazing. So while we apologize for the
Not sure. We haven't had this happen for a little while, though, have we, Anton? It's
no, we
been
haven't. So we've been
a
very
while
lucky.
since we've
We've
had
been
these
lucky.
technical issues.
Yeah. So stay with us,
Uh,
everybody. Oh, maybe Jess will come back.
we
Oh, we've lost
she's
her.
dropped off. Oh
Oh,
no, here
here
she
she
comes
comes
again.
again.
She's left and she's re-entered.
Hey,
Hey, can you hear
I'm
us
back.
now?
I'm sorry.
hey, no, it's
That's
fine.
okay. That's
So
okay.
I was just asking, like, what is the reason?
She's
What is the reason for training twice a week?
twice a day.
Twice a day. What's the reason for training twice a day?
Oh no, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you hear me now? Hello?
How about if I ask it? So he was just wondering what's your thinking behind training twice a day? What's your reasoning for that? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, Jess?
I can hear you kind of.
So just tell us how you're training
Hello?
twice a
There
day.
you
Can
are.
you
There you
Yes.
are.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Can you hear me? No. I'm not
Sorry.
sure what's going on. Jess, if you could still hear us, maybe like hotspot off a phone or
Yeah,
something
she's
like that. It
gone.
might be your internet connection.
Yeah, she's out of
I don't know
it.
why I'm saying this to her now. She's not actually here on the call with us. Our listeners can hear that, but um, no one else. Okay, wait. Here she
Okay,
comes.
let's go.
I don't know if she can hear us. Maybe try
Hello.
hotspotting off your phone or something, Jess. I don't know if you're using your phone or something like that. It could be your
Sure.
internet connection.
I am using my phone. Should I? I can head upstairs. Maybe that'll work better.
Give it a try. We've only got probably just a bit over 10
Yeah.
minutes
You know what? I'm gonna head
left.
upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Take us for a
Yeah,
walk.
yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah, we can come with you. It might, if the internet is better upstairs, we can join you. We've had this happen before,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, you're not the first.
especially in our early stages. This shows how we have progressed, Anton, in
Yeah, that's
our
right.
podcasting because
That's
we're now
right.
much more seasoned at dealing with these.
Yeah, also when things go wrong, we don't worry anymore, Kim.
No, no, no,
It's
no,
just
no.
another
Yeah,
day in the life of a
that's
human.
right.
Hey,
We've
while
had,
Jess is relocating, we are looking at doing roll or die rash guards, everybody. Kim's been
yes,
very lovely prodding me and not busting me over it. But yeah, we've put out the post on Facebook. We've got a whole bunch of providers. We are going to make roll or die rash guards. If you've got any ideas about what we could put on them, please let us
let
know
us
as
know.
well.
Send us a message.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
better, Jess? Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes. All
I think
good
Okay,
you work in
now.
a
fantastic.
newscasting station or something. What is going on? Like wherever you are, there's a million monitors in the background.
I am a GM at a pub, so I'm actually now sitting inside the TAB section.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
We could have
Awesome.
pretended that you were an army general or something, and nobody would ever know. But GM at a pub is also a great thing. But for all we know, you are monitoring all the world's activities right now. All right. My question for
Yeah.
you is, why do you train twice a day? Like, what is the motivation? Not the motivation, but what's your reasoning behind that? Like, does that lead to overtraining and problems? Or is it absolutely fine for you and you develop faster? What's your reasoning for training twice a day?
For me, I have to fit everything around work, right? So, generally we work, like 45 to 50 hours a week. So wherever I can fit in training is what I do. So generally, like, we'll do a 6:30 a.m. class, and that 6:30 a.m. class is usually pretty chill. We're not chucking each other across the room or anything like that.
Yep.
So Yeah, so I like to get up, and that means that I get up early, nice and early, and I can go, train in the morning, have coffee with my friends, head to work, and just make sure that I have my gi ready for the evening session. And that's when I know that we're going to have a harder session.
Nice.
So a lot of the morning stuff may be more technique focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
How do you go with winding down? Like after that evening session, sometimes I struggle to then fall asleep to be able to get up because I like the early mornings as well, but I found I couldn't do both, like finishing late one night and then having to get up early the next day, especially as I'm getting older. Like it's really hard. Do you have any secrets for that?
Yeah, I find for me, luckily, that's pros and cons of being doing shift work, right? So on the weekends, I'll work in the evenings, and sometimes I'll do open mat on Saturday mornings. It's not that early; it's maybe 10:30, but we may have women's open at mat at 9 on Sundays. So I will literally sometimes get like 4 hours of sleep, or maybe even a little less than that before heading to training. But I am really lucky because I don't have any issues falling asleep. So I am a sleep camel. That's what I call it. So whenever I can get some shut eye is when I'll take a nap. I will be if I'm not up and doing something, I'm usually asleep.
So are you one of those
So-
people that can sleep on a plane? Like no problem.
Yep.
Oh,
So
I hate those people. Sorry, because I just cannot.
how I explain it is that, it's like I'm an Asian baby, like just a baby in general. When you have anything that's moving, I'm asleep. So you turn the car on, I'm asleep. Like the plane doesn't even leave the tarmac, I'm asleep. So I'm very lucky.
Sleep camel. I'm stealing that. So, okay, on that note, like when it's not really on that note, but you're in a pub, you're in the TAB section. Like, how do you find, like, I'm sure that there are hospitality demands where they want you to drink or they want you to socialize. And it's like, does that impact your training? Does that impact your life? Do you have to manage that? How do you cross those streams?
For me, I actually don't drink. I joke around about it. Like there's with Asians, there's types that can drink like fish, and then there's types that can't drink at all. So it turns out I'm the type that, gets a rash sometimes if, at certain types of alcohol. So I don't drink at all. Besides being sleep deprived, I am generally pretty good.
Yeah, awesome.
I do eat bad food though. So
yeah, I don't drink anymore. I'm addicted to sugar now. So yeah, like one addiction.
Fried food and sugar.
Yeah, but okay, that's great. That makes sense. That you can work in a pub then and still have a training regime that's powerful. Awesome.
So
Yeah,
and just on that, Jess, did you like have to change your eating at all? Did you have to do anything to sort of get to your weight division for the Masters tournaments? Did you change things up or not really?
Well, I've actually moved up in weight class. So now I generally fight in medium heavy. That's kind of where I walk. So that's where I fight. But I used to fight middleweight. But I was actually on the low end of middleweight because I was addicted to going to the gym. So I was literally doing hit classes all the time. And, I didn't eat that much. So I was really small. But now I generally walk in medium heavy anyway because I'm not a cutter. I don't like doing it. I find it too stressful. Competing is stressful enough, and I find if you want to add weight cutting to it and not feeling 100%, I feel like that's doing yourself a disservice, right?
Yeah.
So so I just make sure that going into the competition that I am probably about maybe a kilo under, including all my gear, so that you can eat and drink in the morning and not really be worried about making weight, because obviously we weigh in on the day usually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what about like mental prep? Sorry to jump in, Anton. I'll take a second question. In those minutes or however long prior to each match at a big tournament, like an international tournament, what sort of things are going through your head? What are you sort of thinking? Are you keeping it pretty chill? Are you sort of fully focused? What's your take?
So I start my preparation probably about a week out. Like I like to go and go for a float. So I like a little bit of sensory deprivation just to work out in my mind what options I would do if I was how we're going to start a match, and what your best match in your mind would look like if everything went to plan. And then probably day of, I like to make sure that I'm at the arena probably about 2 hours beforehand. So I give myself lots of time to, walk around and have a look, do some shopping, and then get into the bullpen nice and early, and then just kind of have a seat. Not like I don't look up my opponents. I don't, study their game. I don't do any of that stuff. Just to make sure that, I impose my game as opposed to react to theirs, right? So I like to I like to have a seat in the bullpen and just, take it all in, because especially at a tournament like, World Masters, it is huge. Like there's just thousands and thousands of people all around, and they're all, worried about their own game, worried about their own fights, right? So just, having a look around and really being grateful for having the opportunity to go and experience something like that, right? So that's kind of how I take it. I don't listen to music. I don't dance. I don't do any of the above. I just sit and take it all in.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
So we're getting to the end, but I am keen also to find out, like you said, the next transition for you, or the next thing to bolt onto what you're doing is teaching. And what is your what is pulling you towards teaching? What's the excitement for that for you? Because obviously it will possibly take something away from your competition.
I think just speaking to people who are instructors or professors, that how they explain it is that once you start teaching, that's really when you get to the next level in jiu-jitsu, right? Being able to understand all the concepts and being able to, teach it to someone else really takes you to another level in which how you understand things, right? So I think that would be really great to learn, because I haven't really had the opportunity to teach yet. So, obviously assist, and I think that'd be great for my learning, as well as, maybe helping to give back a little.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, it
Awesome.
might actually add to your competing skills rather than take away by kind of spreading yourself thinner. Is that what you're saying? As well as being
it's just how you look at it, right? I feel like
beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah, no. Well, we're just about out of time. So thank you so much for giving up your time, Jess. We had a few technical issues, but we got through them. And that was awesome. I know you're a little bit unsure about coming on, but you've been very, very easy guest. Thank you for doing that. Anton and I have a little bit of a goal to try and chat with every Aussie female black belt. So thank you for helping us with that attempt, and we'll have this podcast out in a couple of weeks. Got a few others lined up beforehand, but if you could share it on your social media, that would be awesome for us. And we look forward to seeing what's in store for you at the next stage of your jiu-jitsu journey. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
and we'll
Jess.
see you on the mat.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks so much. And Kim, hey, can we get a roll in sometime?
Yeah, definitely,
me,
for
or
sure.
shall I come visit you?
Yeah.
Let's
awesome.
do it. I'd love a roll. I want to feel the
Yay!
power. Awesome. All right. Catch you later.
Thanks,
great.
Jess.
Yes.
See
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.